For old Boris Becker in trouble, Ivan Lendl on his way to victory in the Nabisco Masters. A very good afternoon to we now go our own way for coverage of the UEFA Cup tie. Hajduk split against Dundee United. Our apologies for the late start. We had problems with the lines from Yugoslavia, but we can now go live to Split for that vital UEFA Cup tie and join our commentator, Archie McPherson.
Well, welcome to Split in Yugoslavia, and I do apologise that we couldn't get through to you sooner than this, but you haven't missed all that much. Dundee United, of course, very keen not to concede a goal at any stage in this game, and particularly not at the start. And there clearly is offside. Can I say immediately about the conditions that they were so good today, it was too warm to wear a jacket. Now, I don't want to rub it into you people suffering from frost and snow at the moment back home. What I really do mean is that Dundee United are going to be playing this game under quite ideal conditions in one of the most impressive stadiums I've ever been in my life. It really is a majestic stadium. The stands are built for the concept of a seashell because we're right on the coast. They were built for the Mediterranean game 6 years ago, supposedly holding 55,000, and I would think maybe about 25 to 30,000 in this afternoon. And that is picked up by Deberic. Back goes the United defence, Milius, and there, corner kick. I might also add that we saw some of the most extraordinary scenes of intimidation before the game in the warm-up, when quite deliberately some of the Yugoslavians were kicking the ball with some ferocity at the Dundee United players in a very provocative way. And United certainly must keep their head and the cool, and that's a useful goal! Well, sitting beside me is a gentleman who I'm sure wishes he had been down there at that moment to head that ball away. Looks to me, Paul Hegarty, unable to play today, looks to me, Paul, that was almost a casual look about that Dundee United defence there.
Well, it was a great cross, and ball always going away from the keeper, but normally the way Thompson gets these situations, but luckily for us, they went over the bar.
And quite clearly, Paul, they cannot allow this team to rise in the penalty area unchallenged like that.
That's correct, but it was predictable actually that it was going to be in flurries at the present time, that Split were going to come in flurries, and I think it's a good sign that we're going to try and take the game to them now.
Pralita, the goalkeeper, was the third team goalkeeper until the start of the season. And away go Hajduk. Number 11, Deberic. Again, the useful ball. No hitch kick. It was attempted. And I think the referee, yes, up goes his arm. Free kick. As I said, about a crowd of 25,000 in a stadium that takes 50,000. But they're certainly making some noise. The reason for the size of the crowd, of course, is that Hajduk have not been playing well in the league. They're now in 7th place. And it went for the handicapping system, which has been established as a means of penalising clubs. Then they would be something in the region of 12th place. And the punters do not like it. Setino. Andrasevic. And Jim McLean, the Dundee United manager, made it very clear yesterday that he wanted to attack. He said it would be fatal simply to go and try and hold on to the score. It's essential for United to think, and I'm sure they can, score a goal. John Holt. Was a good run by Holt. Yes, the referee rightly stopping the play by number 10, Asanovic. There's John Holt. John had a leg stress fracture and has been out of the game really since August. I think you could describe John as a utility player, can play almost anywhere for United. That he is number 3. Eamon Bannon playing through the middle for United today as he did in Romania. No, he doesn't get it. There's a goal kick. Hajduk, certainly not a strange area for Scottish teams. They've played here back in 1973. And some very prominent clubs have come to this stadium. with Hajduk having an astonishing record in the UEFA Cup. This is their 21st game in this particular tournament, and they've only lost once. It's not bad going. By the way, you might be getting the impression that we're suffering from the encroachment of mist. We're not, in fact. These supporters have been bringing in smoke canisters of all kinds of colours, and it's just beginning to clear up, in fact. Gallagher. Out came the goalkeeper with his foot very high. I think there might be a booking for Redford for that tackle. Number 6, Dundee brought down as Redford. Yeah, I think the player, in fact, was past Redford, and with, I think, to do justice to Redford, I think he tried to restrain himself and couldn't quite manage it. Just simply an awkward tackle, or an awkward challenge. With the far side, Gary McGuinness. One of the younger players on his side. McInally, Redford, right off that ball. Might have been disturbed by that booking, and away goes Steric. Ooh, the foot of John Hope just in. McInally played that well. Neat triangular movement by Dundee United. Now young Kevin Gallagher. Ralph Milne. Well, if they play in balls like that, then Pralika is going to have a very easy afternoon. He's a huge keeper, 6'2". Devinic, who's switching wings. Very tricky player, wants to go again. Wants to just go, and it cuts over. Brilliant piece of play by Hajduk. And they really took the United defence apart. And that was an awkward one for him to take, in fact. Came across his body, decided to take it with the right foot, and the angle was wrong. Rather ominous sign of this team's strength. And I think the crowd, who were very pessimistic about the chances in this game, at least have been telling us beforehand, although they do tend to exaggerate these things, beginning to walk to this match. Here's Gallagher. Wants to go at them. There he goes again between the players. Gallagher fighting hard for it. Andricevic. And Kevin Gallagher did very well. He refused to give up, showing some courage, Paul.
Yes, he did well there after, yes. The most important thing for us now is to keep a solid base and trying to knock the ball about, which we normally can do. So they've upset us with a wee bit, but we've got to sort of try and get the game together and knock the ball about like what they're doing.
Steric. And this team, if they keep playing like this, of course, will grow in confidence. But as the seconds stick away, of course, the better chance there is of frustration creeping through the ranks. About 13 minutes of the game gone. And I can assure you, you missed hardly anything from the start of the whistle until we came across Hope. Yes, I think the ball had gone out of play in any case. Yugoslavians, of course, are renowned for their strength as well as skill. and the export players all over the world. Indeed, Hajduk split at one particular phase of their history in the space of 2 years, gave no less than 10 players to major clubs in Europe. Not quite in that category at the moment, but I think you've already seen they can play a bit. McGuinness. Well, one or two of the Dundee United players did in fact say to me that they felt the pitch was a trifle greasy. It's certainly very soft. Although by and large the United players were saying that we're very satisfied. At number 6, and Billy Thompson from Steric. Billy Thompson, who's had 18 shutouts out of 32 games this season. That must mean that the defenders in front of him grow in confidence as well. Milius. Very attacking full-back, but very slack pass forward. Well, that's an ambitious one to Bannon. Now, you saw number 7 for Dundee United there, Bowman, passing that ball forward. In fact, yesterday, Jim McLean was toying with the idea of playing Page, who's never played in Europe before. Young lad who had the leg break against Motherwell. Fought his way back into the game, and I think it must have been a last-minute decision to change his mind and play the slightly more experienced player in Bowman. There he is, just getting that touch to it. Gallagher, Bannon. And the ball does go out, but even though we had a bit of intimidation before the game and some of the tackles have been pretty rough since the start of the match, that young lad, Kevin Gallagher, showing he's very brave indeed. He's not shifting from digging in for his club. This right full-back seeing a lot of the ball. Milius. Not accurate, bringing it forward though. Steric. Oh, neat little move there. Number 11, Deveric, and I think there was a deflection that was. Asanovic. Deveric. Not kept in, a corner kick. Paul, you're indicating something to me. The ball's a bit lively.
Yeah, a bit lively actually. It looks, you know, between the balls in the air, once it hits the ground, the ball goes in a lot of speed, and that can be awkward, especially for the bakers.
And just about 18 minutes of this game gone, still no scoring, and they have looked decidedly dangerous with this kind of ball, and that's a very good grip by Billy Thompson. I must say, having to come into this United side, as he did, to follow the man who's back in the studio, Hamish McAlpin, cannot have been easy under any circumstances. I think he's suffered for that, but he's very much established himself. Let me repeat, one of the essential features of Dundee United's strategy was ensuring they didn't lose a quick goal. Now, I'm not sure how quick is quick and what Mr. McLean would say was quick, but with now 18 and a half minutes gone, would you think he's sitting there reasonably satisfied, Paul?
The thing is that you go what it seems to go in the first 20, 25 minutes. It's the pattern we expected here today. Obviously, they've been the home side, they've got to attack to please their supporters. But at the present time, they've only came in flurries, as I said earlier on, and they've only had really one chance that's caused us any bother.
John Clark. Bannon couldn't quite get in there. Stanovic. Very, very good player, yes. And he was being fouled. Now, Stanovic, the player you have on the ball at the moment, is highly thought of in English football circles. He played against English under-21s, and a lot of managers in the First Division went away raving about his performance. So keep your eye on him, number 10 for Hajduk. The sort of player I think would be grabbed by any other European side. Still a young lad, but very mature in the way he plays. Oh, dreadful blunder. Oh, not enough in that. And has the whistle gone again? Yes, it has. Number 4 done that time, Andrijasevic. Seric. Milius. Stanovic. Well, trying to be absolutely, totally neutral, and even at that, I think there might be some overreaction in some of these tackles.
Oh, undoubtedly, Arthur, yes. There was one occasion there, just number 4 had lost the ball, and it looked to me as if he had no chance, and he just went down knowing that he had no chance to get the ball, actually. So that's what he's going to contend with.
Picked up by Seric. Deveric. And this fullback who wants to come forward, but his passing forward hasn't been all that great. David Neri, yes. Nice camming influence he has on the team, David Neri. United players, only 2 of them forward for that ball, but up they come in support now. Damien Bannon picks it up. There is the support. Bowman tried to get to Gallagher. Jim McAnally. Yes, ending up more as an easy kind of lob. Jim McAnally, who scored his first goal ever for the club in the first leg. Mary. Good positive header again. Little hesitation about that. Redford. Bad ball for Gallagher, but he gets a return, and I think he's offside, yes. Way in the far side. The referee today, by the way, we missed the introduction to him at the start, Jan Kaiser. Borsak, number 9, powerful player, almost like a kind of traditional, strong Scottish centre forward, the conventional mould, and was their leading goal scorer last season. What a decent shot, but there's the return and a weak header. That was Borsak, in fact. And I think it bears full point out when he said the ball is very lively. I think the bounce deceived him there.
Yes, that's John. That is taking the bounce and off.
It doesn't seem to be our afternoon, does it? A little late getting the lines from Yugoslavia, and now we appear to have lost pictures. Obviously, we're now trying very hard to get those back for you. Meantime, let me do something we didn't actually have time to do at the very start of our transmission, and introduce our studio guest this afternoon. There's a man that's played a few times for United in European competition, former keeper Hamish McAlpin. Hamish, welcome, belatedly. Sorry that we've lost the lines. How do you think it's going so far, though, after about 20 minutes or so?
Well, I think they'll be quite happy with the result at the moment. I think they could probably kill a game a wee bit more, you know, with taking it from Billy rather than kicking up the park. The full-backs could take it a wee bit more and just, you know, pass it about the back a wee bit. They have given the ball away a few times unnecessarily, but having said that, our team have sort of created one chance possibly in the time that we've been on the air. they'll be quite happy with the performance, I think, you know.
Yes, Archie and Paul were saying this, of course, that once you get past that 20-25 minute spell, then maybe the home crowd starts getting on the Yugoslavians' backs a little bit and puts the pressure on them.
Well, that's right, and I think they might start to try and come a wee bit more. They're quite content to play it about and play for openings at the moment, but the longer the game goes on, they're going to get a wee bit more desperate to attack, and it'll give the likes of Eamon Bannon, Ralph Milne a bit of pace, Kevin Gallagher as well, a chance to sort of get up and maybe catch the defence a wee bit unawares. But as I say, it's going quite well.
Going quite well. Well, again, let's just stress that we're hoping to get those pictures back for you very soon. Meantime, let's continue talking, Hamish. When looking at that United team, there's a lot of changes from the side that played so often in the great years in Europe when you were involved. Jim McLean has done tremendously well in bringing in the young lads and still finding success, hasn't he?
Well, that's right. He said he's got a few new faces certainly at the club, but they're experienced players. They probably aren't as experienced in Europe as the players that have been there for a few years, but you know, like Gary McGuinness, David Bowman, they've been, well, Ralph Milne's played a lot of games in Europe as well. They've all been brought up to play, and they've been on trips abroad before, and it's nothing new to them. And the game's suited to playing in Europe. They like to play passes, which I think they should be trying to do a wee bit more. Try and pass it about rather than sort of play with a wee bit of pace, you know.
Yeah.
They're maybe getting a wee bit desperate, thinking we can score here, you know. I'd like to see them just passing it a wee bit more and killing the game up when they've got the possession, you know.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much of the United midfield, really. I haven't seen too much of Eamon Bannon slowing it down, or Ian Redford trying to...
Well, Eamon's playing more central, you know, he's playing up front, but they're defending, you know, their job is really basically playing sort of nearly 8 at the back.
Let me stop you there, Hamish. The good news is that we have got pictures back. Let's hope we haven't missed anything significant. Let's go back for Hajduk against Dundee United.
To Hajduk. Again, there's intense pressure in this penalty area. Hajduk concentrating on these high balls into a crowded box. And Bannon on the run, and he's screaming for the pass, and he gets it. Bannon right beyond Mills. Didn't judge that at all well. Ian Redford. Clark, I think Kevin Gallagher was given offside as he ran to the left of Clark, although Clark's final effort at goal was really rather pathetic. I think he was trying to chip the goalkeeper more than anything else. I believe you've had another short break from us. All you Dundee United supporters, your nerves will be jangling. You did miss one or two little pieces of pressure on this United defence, but they withstood it. Almost 28 minutes of the game gone. One or two of the prominent players now beginning to show their faces. Willich, for example, and this man, Deveric. Very good in that area. Field for a penalty kick, but not too strongly. Goal kick. It must be good, Paul, to see Billy Thompson so established now in goal.
Well, Billy's had a tremendous season this year. As you say, he had 18 shutouts. He has been an inspiration to the side.
And he'll be needed this afternoon, already proved his worth. Deveric. Clark missing that out badly. There must be, and he's missed it again. Well sacked. And number 11, Deveric, cannot believe it. Beautifully set up there by Milius. Watch him. Now that's the third chance he's had from almost that very spot. And that surely can do no good to the morale of not only the bench that you saw there, but the other Hajduk players. There was no cover on him. And United have really got to look at themselves and say, okay, well, we've made mistakes and we've got away with it. Now I think they've got to be a little more positive. That's simply living too dangerously. Holt. Deveric. Trying to manoeuvre in for the shot. And back there by Jim McInally. Bannon. Yes, push from the back. The manager was saying yesterday how that he is indeed, Gordon Wallace. I think he must be worried about one of the players. He said the physio. No, in actual fact, the shin guards which were thrown onto the pitch by one of the United players. McInally lost it. Jim McLean was saying how valuable Eamon Bannon was going right through the middle. Trying that again this afternoon. There's Kevin Gallagher. And it's a goal kick, and we have exactly 15 minutes of this first half remaining. And I would think with the score nothing each, there must be general satisfaction, if not entirely with the total quality of Dundee United's play, but with that scoreline. As I said, Paul, I hope they've learned some of the lessons from some of these mishaps.
Well, I think it's important for us to get back to the basics, just something knock the ball about as we can do. We have definitely improved in the last 5-10 minutes.
Saric. McGuinness with all the time in the world to bring that down. The linesman had his flag up for offside, but the referee simply acknowledges the fact and allows the play to go on. There was no danger at all. The captain, Perozovic. David Neri, number 6. He is now the most experienced European player in Scotland. Of the current crop of players, that is. Only Jimmy Johnson, Billy McNeil, John Gregg have had more European experience. And of course, the man sitting beside me has got a handful of games less than his colleague in the centre of defence. That was taken by Holt. Banner was up there, and Kevin Gallagher. The referee giving a free kick right on the edge of the box. Asanovic, Bulic. Oh, easily beaten that time. Didn't seem to have any relish for the tackle.
No.
Gallagher.
No. That was a good 5 minutes ago. Nah, not here.
Gallagher. Dragging the defender towards him. Bannon down, and nobody coming in for that. And the band struck up again. I don't know, I don't object to music being played during a football match, Paul.
It could be better update. It could be the top of the ball.
That's a neat ball. Now Ralph Mills, blatantly fouled. Blatantly fouled. I always think, Paul, that's a bookable offence. He just stood in his way.
That's just the way I see, you know, Ralph seen the defender on, and then what happened? His body checked out the game completely.
Free kick to United. It's a very interesting position and at a very crucial time of the game. 33 minutes gone. Clark is there along with Redford. And there is Clark. And a lot of strength behind it. It was skidding. And the goalkeeper, Paralika, did very well with it. Now, Milius. I hate to tempt Providence by saying that this lot have been very poor in front of goal. Well, in actual fact, I can't avoid saying it. They have. They knock the ball about very well. They turn on sudden acceleration from time to time. You know, they put down and away they go. They seem to have the beating of the United defence. But fortunately, the finishing thus far has been pathetic. But watch this one. Number 11, Dundee, couldn't get his shot in. Mills. Savannah. Not enough in that, and he had Ian Redford, in fact, coming up facing goal. Perhaps that ought to have been better. Pushed back to him. Bulic. That's David. Where he goes to one of his runs. He's looked a very useful player indeed. Borsak. Bulic. Beautifully headed away by David Neri. United hemmed in again. Milius the right back, and that is up to the crossbar, and Thompson, rightly the linesman said that ball hadn't gone across. I may say Billy Thompson has never had a shutout in European football, either playing for United or Scotland. Well, Neri coped with that well. That is always a difficult ball, bouncing, spinning towards him. He didn't lash out at it, he had to push it to the side. And 10 minutes to half-time, we have another corner kick for Hajduk. The score is still 0 each. Thompson commits himself and does well. Bulic. Down it's Black, and I think a free kick, yes. Free kick to United. And in fact, it was young Gary McGuinness who was poleaxed in there. United, in fact, have an excellent record now, and they've played 45 European sides, and creating situations like that. And there was McGuinness, and I think he might have got that either in the shoulder or in the face. I was saying they've played 45 ties since 1980, and only Rangers and Celtic have bettered that in total games. I think Rangers have up to 130 European ties, so there's great experience there. And unfortunately, too much experience sitting beside me, Paul. I think you'll be missed today.
The longer the game gets on, the more we're going to get frustrated. That'll definitely be beneficial to us. You can hear the background drum. Can't call any defending time, so obviously that's what.
Well, this is Milius, and he's been very dangerous. Way to the outside. No, he tried too much. Yes, I think he tried to decorate that move. Really is a very good pair, but he threw himself down, and the referee acknowledges at that time. Now, they were not outside because Redford was very slow out on this near touchline to run away again. I think you could call that grease more than anything else. Certainly not looking too happy down in that Hajduk bench. McInally, Redford. Young Kevin Callaghan, defender far too big for him. There's Clark, was forward well. Looks as if Bannon was pushed, and the referee agreed. Referee, a lot of experience. Free kick United. So, defensive wall is only 3 players. There is once again John Clark. He really hit that with real power that time, and I think the goalkeeper, deceived by the skid, And they got right through. Yes, good inbound.
The thing is that John Buck's always liable to score from these situations. He's got a tremendous shot, as everyone knows.
And there he is again. Well, married life's obviously appealing to him. Got married recently. Certainly not increased his inhibition. First of all, having that free kick, and then coming up for this particular header we're now about to see. The near post one. The goalkeeper certainly right behind him. The right kind of glance, I think that would have gone in. Pushed there by Bulic. Asanovic. We're into the last 5 minutes of this first half. Still nothing each. Still the odd moment of anxiety for United. And McInally slightly lucky getting that away. Tries to make amends. Yes, rightly the referee waving play on. He threw himself down. Tricky little throw back again. And Dave Bowman came in on that angled run just at the right time. On a kick though. Bad one. Only 3 players were outside of that penalty area. 3 outfield players. And the fullback is beginning to get forward as often as he can, and Thompson was fouled by Gerolimo. Well, the goalkeeper must have been very confident getting out for that.
The important thing for us now, actually, is to keep it tight now, because there's only 2 minutes to go. Half line, the punch is split now, they're playing long balls. Obviously, they're trying a bit frustrated. That will definitely suit us.
Well, I think frustration is one of the most important elements in European football. I know we've experienced it ourselves when we play at home, and teams playing in Europe at the highest level, battering against defences, worried about the breakaway. I think this must be going through Hajduk's mind at this moment in time. Steric. No free kick. I think, Paul, the referee's beginning to tumble some of these calls.
Yes,
Pardon the expression.
Yes, it is. Which is nice to see on our part, because 9 times out of 10 in Europe, away from home, we usually give it against us.
Bannon. Offside, I think, yes. Just keeping my eye on the watch, but a couple of minutes left, 2.5. And this will be taken by John Holt. I wonder if they would ever play commentators' requests in this music that we're getting. I don't know if you can hear it loudly back at home, but we can. There's a brass or military band near at hand. If it is, I'll try and manage the dashing white sergeant for everybody in the second half. Meanwhile, 2 minutes to half time. The whistles of frustration going up, and there is Thompson. Bannon all on his own. Milne almost got away with that. Well, this right full-back is a very tricky player coming forward. He's got a lot of skill, but he's also a risky player because he's a bit careless in the way he passes at times, and he has been caught out. And I just wonder if United will exploit that. I'm sure it's something that John McLean has obviously observed closely. Steric. A minute of this half remaining. And away goes McGuinness. United looked very cool the way they broke that up. Looking for a run by Redford. We're into, I think, the last 30 seconds of this half. Gallagher. If that had been a better ball, I think they would really have put that defense under pressure. McGuinness. Redford did that well. Bannon. Gallagher. One of United's best moves so far. I think the referee indicating there that there was a dive, not giving a free kick. Now who's running after that? It's Eamon Bannon. He'll never catch it. Oh, he did better than I thought. He gets the throw anyway. At least he puts it for the throw. And we're into stoppage time. That was Bosak trying to go through. Bosak, as I said, was the leading goal scorer, not just in this club, but in Yugoslavia last season. And in this 45 minutes, the first 45 minutes, he hasn't impressed at all. Well, the whistle should go any second. We're looking at him, and it does. Half-time. As I said, in a rather misty-looking stadium, and that might be an analogy that we use about the chances of Hajduk, who are going in, having failed to score the expected to, and indeed were confidently predicting that they would score in the first half, if not even at the start of the game. And in the first 15 minutes, I think the coach was going after a breakthrough, and it hasn't come. And I think United, without playing brilliantly, have in their quiet and unsensational and very methodical manner, a manner that is this hallmark in Europe, if you like, have played in a sense with a confidence that has only been dented once or twice by some of the attacks that have been pushed forward by Hajduk. And I wonder, Paul, if I can bring up, though, to be realistic and frank, the painful memory of Radnički Niš, when you, as I recall, you went in at half-time with a score nothing each, and you were defending a 2-goal lead, and you blew it because your manager said you didn't take the game to them in the second half. Any danger of that, lad?
Well, I think I'll have that in our memory now, actually. That was one of these days that so many players were off form that we definitely got our fingers burnt. But I think we have the experience to manage to get through. We didn't play particularly well, but in saying that, I think the manager will have a few words at half-time with certain players, and hopefully we'll get our act together.
Are there certain things you would like to see happening now in this Dundee United side? I mean, in the way they're playing.
Well, the way we usually play, Archie, is by knocking the ball about and hopefully exploiting them to come out a bit. And if you notice in the last attack, we actually had 5 players going at 3 of their defenders, and it caused them a wee bit problem. We've got to do that a wee bit more because they look a bit vulnerable at the back. Yeah, do you think that the manager might say we've got to have a right go at them, say a certain period in the game, maybe even at the start, and try and get this goal? Or is he still worried about conceding one? Well, the important thing is, actually, is to have a solid base, not to concede one, and hopefully sneak one. But saying that, the most important thing for us is to take the game at them, make them worry about us, not let them worry about Dundee United.
Well, as a gentleman sitting in the studio with Dougie Donnelly, who will remember that occasion up in Radnički Niš, and that second half in particular, and I wonder if it's going through his mind as well, Dougie.
Yes, I'd imagine it would be, actually, because obviously there is the parallel there, isn't there, with that awful day for United. Happily, things at the moment are looking quite good, Hamish. I mean, what about that parallel with the last time you were in Yugoslavia?
I think the difference is you've got a better referee today. I think the last time, if anybody remembered, the boys remember a game, it was just one of these things that the referee had a shocker and it didn't allow us to play, really. There was 2 or 3 players didn't play well, but I think the referee was a deciding factor in that game. But they'll be happy with the result at the moment. Yeah. No scoring, and as Paul says, I'd like to see them I said earlier on as well, I'd like to see them knocking the ball about a wee bit more, taking their time, killing the game. Although it doesn't, everybody says, oh, it's ridiculous, you're wasting time, you're doing this. That's what it's all about. If they come out of there, no score, they've done their job and they're into the next round.
That's right. I mean, the result is everything in European football these days, Hamish, obviously, but Jim McLean is such a perfectionist. What is he going to be saying just now? Will he say, we haven't played well, we've got away with it, it's nothing each? Is he going to be saying that's okay, keep it going, or is he going to be looking for changes?
He's going to be having a words with 2 or 3 players. I think they could probably do a wee bit better. I would like to see Gary McGuinness getting a wee bit tighter probably to the winger. Also John Holt, the guy who was wanting to run John early on in the game. I'd like to see him getting a wee bit more cover, because I think very early on the guy got a super cross in.
So let's see that in fact, Hamish, because most of the trouble has come from the wings. So let's see an incident very early on in the match, actually, not too long after we got our line back, in fact, illustrating the fact that the United defence has got to watch this cross ball, this time from a corner. Now, as a keeper, I mean, Billy Thompson looked in 2 minds there a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, it's early on, and it's the ball hangs up a wee bit more there. It's a kind of light ball, and it hangs up. And Billy's saying, well, right away he said, this ball's mine. Whenever it's up in the air, Billy, he said it's mine, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and all of a sudden it just comes down over the top of him. It's one that Billy will want to forget, and I cringe as well when I see them coming in. But
well, it's interesting, Hamish, because we were talking during the first half, and you were saying for a goalkeeper, that's one of the things you must watch, and playing with a lighter ball and a different climate perhaps, and the ball behaves differently, doesn't it?
Well, that's right, and they say it's a wee bit warmer, so the ball's going to stay there a wee bit longer. Here it's cold, and the ball it's more direct, Probably in Scotland you've got Peter Weir and Davy Cooper that hits balls in like that, so you don't get it every week. They're hitting balls like that every week, and they're used to it, and their time in their runs. You've got to give yourself a wee bit extra time. But I think the first one, Billy was saying, he's good in the air. I'm going to take this one, and he just come a wee bit early. If he just stayed, and he would have taken it easy, and he's taken everything else since. He's taken everything.
Right. Okay, let's see another incident from that first half then. The first few incidents we have for you, in fact, are all at the United end, and then we expected that. Obviously, they're under pressure. This was danger again from the cross ball, but this time on the left. And there again, that's what you were saying, Hamish, about Gary McGuinness maybe being caught a little bit exposed.
Yeah, well,
Gary
could have got a wee bit close. I think it was to Davy Bowman initially, and everybody should have gone across a wee bit, As it was 1 for 1, the guy on Gary, and Davy Neary, he could have gone a wee bit further possibly, but
and I'm sure our equivalents in Yugoslavia, I'm sure, will be saying what a terrible miss by the striker, because really he should have done better.
He should have done better. The guy gave him a super ball in. I think he just lay back and he got his foot open a wee bit and it went up in the air, But the guy done really well. He laid it right into his path. Right. But the striker just obviously here I go, and the foot up, lay
These
back.
Are the breaks that
lay
you
back
need,
on it. Yeah, it happens every week. Right. It's great to see him go over a bar on it.
Let's see another split attack. In fact, United still very much under pressure. Another incident coming up for you, and again the United defence looking a little bit concerned here. There's a great covering move here, actually, and you think, oh, good, he's got over, but then he misses the tackle, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, it started back earlier on. Somebody dived into a player just about halfway line. I'm sure the manager will be saying to him, just stay on their feet and jockey. They've done it a few times. 2 or 3 players have slid in, committed themselves, and it's left them space on the ball. And that was another great cross in. The guy, I don't know, we thought we could have brought it down, but looking at it again there, he was struggling because the ball was going pretty quickly. The guy put a fair bit of pace on the ball across. He probably did quite well. He might be saying he should have done better, but it was a very, very hard chance.
Yeah, again it's this thing of the ball flying more quickly and having to have a snap at it.
Yeah, I think the guy, he done well, but he's probably saying, oh, that was a chance, but it was quite a hard one.
Well, the next incident we've got coming up in a few seconds actually is United in attack, and John Clark coming up and having a buzz. And United towards the end of the first half were beginning to be seen more as an attacking force, which is encouraging, isn't it?
Well, that's right. They'll be very happy with the last 10 minutes of the game, I think. And it's obviously going to give Hajduk a bit of worries. They were up there for 5-10 minutes near the end, and they played the ball about. They were a bit patient, and they got the chance. I think it was a free kick. We have had chances. Kevin Gallagher's had a chance to run at the guy. Unfortunately, he's hit the guy's legs. He's intercepted it a few times. I'd like to see Kevin make sure it's past him. Come at the other side, run it out the park, other end of the park, rather than being blocked. Because if he's taking it up, everybody's moving up into attack.
Well, let's see this John Clark.
Will be saying that to him.
The John Clark shot's coming up then, Hamish. Again, nothing dramatic, but at least it showed United as an attacking force. And the keeper, I think, caught a little bit again with that flight of the ball, Hamish, and maybe even a few bobbles off the pitch too.
Well, I think that actually the goalkeeper slipped. You know, we look at it and say, no, big Clarkie, he's been a wee bit ambitious, but he is a good striker of the ball. But I think the keeper, his left leg just slipped a wee bit, you know, or he would have held it, I think, you know. But it was a fair effort. You know, it was on target, the goalie had to save it. But maybe a wee bit ambitious, but something that could have gone in, you know, it could have bounced out of the goalie's hands or something.
Perhaps it's been known, hasn't it? You were saying during the first half that you fancy that Jim might just make a change or two in the second half, if not personnel-wise, at least in tactics. Yeah,
I think, well, I'd like to see him and Bannon come a wee bit back into midfield and try and get the ball and playing it about a bit. He might switch him and Ian Redford, I don't know. He seems to have this thing that Eamon played well in one of the last European games. Up front, but I'd like to see him coming back and getting the ball a wee bit more and just leaving Kevin away up and Ralph possibly up and just flooding him. He has flooded the midfield, but we haven't got the ball, or we've been going just back and forth between players. So I'd like to see him and probably trying to pick the ball up a wee bit more.
What about Paul Sturrock, Hamish? Let me ask you about him. Are we missing Paul Sturrock? Well, is he the kind of player that's useful in this kind of, because he'll hold the ball for you?
Paul normally plays up front in his own, in Europe, any European games that we played in away, we played Paul up. And we played sort of 5 across the front, across the middle, and he just made runs into the corners. And we played balls into the corners. If they were going out for goal kicks, fair dues, the game's finished. You know, I mean, the game's killed again, you know, which maybe doesn't sound very good, but it's...
It's all about getting the result again, isn't it? Which is what you're there for. You're not there to entertain the Yugoslavs, are you?
There's no any point in going and making it look good for them and getting beat 3-0. We missed Paul for doing these kind of runs, but we played. We're probably being a bit more adventurous. We're probably playing nearly 3 up. You're playing Kevin wide and aiming through the middle, and Ralph probably doing on the left. Maybe being a bit more adventurous than of late. But I would think personally he might change Eamon and Ian Redford. I don't know, but I think I'd maybe like to see that.
Right. Going away with a 2-0 lead, I mean, it's obviously a great situation to be in. There's always a little bit of a temptation. If we can just maybe catch them early on, get the goal, the game's got to be dead then, because the opposition's then looking for 4 goals. And I think that's obviously the case now. If United were to get one early in the second half.
Yeah, obviously United, they're keen to score, but not as keen as just to keep it blank. You know, that is the job, is to not let the other team score.
Sure.
They'll be happy at no score. The manager will come in, he'll probably give a few boys bollockings or whatever, but he'll be happy at the end of the result. They've done their business, they've gone over there, haven't conceded any goals, and that is what you're doing in Europe, is not to concede a goal. When you're 2-0 up, there's no any point in going crazy to score goals, you know.
No,
you can leave yourself, let the other team get frustrated, and we've done it umpteen times in Europe.
Let's see one more incident then before we go back live for the second half. Again, it's split on the attack. Again, it's a little bit of danger from the cross ball, which United are going to have to watch out for in the second half. This right back likes coming forward, Hamish, doesn't he? Yeah,
that was a great wee pass. He just, you know, he got a bit of room in the right, and he just, I don't know what he'd done. He was going to sort of, I think he once about thought taking it in, and he stubbed it in, and it was a great ball. And Billy sort of, what way is it going to go? You know, it wasn't a bend; it was a straightforward chip in, and he did well. It was a good run down the right hand side, and he beat I think it was John Holt at left back, and he played a super wee ball in. Maybe fortunately it was just a wee bit too far, but it was a good ball in.
Yeah, better watch out for those.
Yeah, it was in between defenders. You know, the defenders are coming back to the goalie, and the goalie's coming out. It's
the classic caught in 2 minds, really.
Well, that's right. You know, your defender saying, "Oh, it's over my head." The goalie will get it. And the goalie saying, "Where am I going?" But I thought it was a good ball in.
OK, well, Archie, I know, is listening to our conversation at half-time out there in Split. Archie, I wonder, it looks a magnificent stadium, and there's obviously a big crowd there. Are there any indications of perhaps getting on their own sides back, putting a bit of pressure on them to help United at all?
Yes, I think we were talking earlier, Dundee, about the frustration that hits home supporters. The team are battering away the defence, and they can't get that very vital early goal. I may say, we were talking to journalists last night who were telling us that if Hajduk were eliminated from this tournament, the game on Saturday here in a stadium that takes 55,000 would only hold or attract something like a couple of thousand. So there's a lot of money involved in it, even though to walk through the gates here, to go through the turnstiles, only cost you something in the region of £1 to £2 for various seats. It's a remote stadium. I'm sure Paul would agree with me that at least the people are well back from the pitch, and sometimes on the continent you've had them breathing down the neck, and indeed in reverse I'm sure the Hajduk players couldn't have liked going to Tannadice.
Undoubtedly, Archie, yes. Tannadice is such a tight ground. with the spectators right over the players. It must be intimidating for Hajduk Split, especially at Dundee.
But I think everybody agreed in the United Party that this was one of the most impressive stadiums I've ever been in. And if you come into this kind of environment, at least it doesn't intimidate you.
That's correct. It's a magnificent stadium and a beautiful spectacle. And it's just a pity it wasn't a 55,000 sellout. But I wish I was there playing today, actually.
Yes, I think that's the worst frustration of all for United. They've got Maurice Malthus, who's unfit to play as well. I think it goes without saying that if you're playing at this level and at this stage in the competition, you need that experience. Although the manager has always been able to fill in. He's a very astute guy that way, isn't he?
Yes, that's right, actually. We have so many good players on the books at Dundee. Yes.
Well, I think Dougie's still back in the studio there, and
Yeah, still listening in, Archie. Actually, I was interested to hear what you said earlier on there. I mean, we don't think of Hajduk Split as being one of the great European names. They're obviously always difficult to go to Eastern Europe, but that's a tremendous record they have in the UEFA Cup, and what a feather it would be for United if they could get the result we're all hoping they do.
indeed, and I think we're just about to start the second half. I'm looking at my pictures here, and there they are. Yes, you're right, Dougie, they have an impressive record. In fact, the European record overall is as good as United. They've certainly played more games than United, 81 to United 71 in total. So really it is an impressive team we're playing against as we start the second half. Well, I suppose we had to be realistic and bring up the point of what happened to United when they last played in Yugoslavia and Radnički Niš. On the other hand, you can say optimistically, they are halfway to the quarter-finals. But I think there's a lot of hard work to be done by the United players out there this afternoon yet. This remaining 45 minutes against a team which will want to strike as quickly as they can in this half. That's Asanovic. And Clark missing out. Fields for the penalty, the referee rightly waving play on, and McGuinness gets into a Fankel with Asanovic. United just get that away, and he looks decidedly nervy. Eamon Bannon all in his own. The ball wasn't strong enough. Kevin Gallagher coming up inside him. Now we can hear the crowd. That's number 5, Bulic. Now to Seric. Little tricky fullback, Milius. Oh, he seems to give up, and I think he's claiming to the referee. Their hands were used. It's a goal kick. Maybe a slight hesitation on Billy Thompson's part as he went for that. Easy enough touch by Ralph Milne. I think people back home would like to see Milne and some of his very quick runs. Would you regard him, and I know you're talking about a colleague, Paul, would you regard him as a temperamental player? Unable to predict how he's going to play?
Well, on his tape, you know, he's something special. He can turn games just with one move, one cross. So hopefully we can get something special from Ralph today.
One of the best players of turning defence into attack with that speed of his, of course. Andrasevic, black with it. So they're number 4, Andrasevic. And I think we've been noticing that David Neddy's been telling his players to calm down. Paul certainly noticed that. Playing his captain's part, of course. No better substitute for the man sitting beside me now. This might be useful. Kevin Gallagher. Young Kevin Gallagher, I must have looked very frail and almost puny down there in comparison with these huge Yugoslavian defenders. But as I indicated earlier, he is wiry, very courageous, and he'll give 100%. Bannon, a little bit unfortunate. McAnally going with them, and an excellent tackle. Asanovic, free kick. Well, it's the very thing that Hajduk had been playing for. Bulic. McGuinness back with it. Might see a lot of that. Gary McGuinness has had 6 appearances in Europe. I think I would agree with Paul that Jim McLean will want more players coming forward as quickly as they can when they build up a promising move. At the moment, Gallagher in particular looks very isolated, very unprotected. Now Bulic, you see there, is picking up balls deep and moving forward, almost the playmaker, as it were. Borsak. Well, he can do all that as much as you like. Always very risky for a commentator to be critical of strikers having so-called off days, because, you know, a half chance they can put it away. You end up with mud in your face. But he has not had a good game, Borsak. McAnally has in a defensive fashion. And all of these on, and I think you'll get a free kick for that challenge. And I think you're quite admiring your front three at the moment, Paul.
Yes, Archie, the front three are doing superb. They're making it very difficult for Hajduk split. And as you can see, they're giving the ball away numerous times.
Looks like John Clark or red, but this time, and it's 2 straight. No test on Praliga. Well, look at the arm out there. It's almost like a karate chop. Asanovic, who can look after himself. Almost a suggestion of hand as David Neddy puts it forward. Gallagher, Bannon. Now here's the captain. Brozovic, right in the middle of the play, giving it out to Silic. No offside. Asanovic. Bulic. Oh, good tackle. Superb play by Gallagher and Redford. He's looking for a little bit support, and he gets it. David Bowman. Bannon. And they may get the corner out of this. Yes, they do. Corner kick. Just about 7.5 minutes gone of the second half. There's still no scoring. Dundee United playing in a pattern that I think we're going to see very much of in the second half with these front three. Sometimes Kevin Gallagher, you see, they're all on his own, but the other two trying to come up very quickly to him. And now the corner. Out to McAnally. Here's Holt. Ralph Milne. Milne did very well to get another corner. Dragging the defender. I noticed that David Neddy is staying back. Yes. Number 4, Andrasevic. Tell you what, John Clark was standing behind. We are very high up here, and it looked as if Clark was getting ahead of there, but he wasn't, in fact. And United Now, looks as if they're beginning to control midfield the way they want. And there's no forward run for that. They've absorbed a lot of that very fine, close possession play of Hajduk, turning the tables on them. And this is Bulic. Clark. Plenty time to turn round. A little bit elaborate. Giving Hajduk possession. Bursak. Bulic. Put away by Bowman. Bannon on his own. This could be a very interesting break. In Redford going. No, he just slightly lost control. But as I said, that's the way United are going to be playing. Almost 10 minutes gone, and this is a very reasonable start to this half. The run by Gallagher came in too soon. Now, I don't think the Yugoslavs are liking this at all. Most experienced man in the field is Perozovic. 34 years of age, the captain.
It appears to me actually now that they're getting a bit frustrated.
Well, your manager seems, well, he very rarely looks happy. He doesn't have to, he won't mind me saying that. But I think he must be inwardly satisfied.
I would think so, actually, yes. Probably not with our performance at present, but with the result.
Milne. Redford. Run there by Milne. This is more like Milne. Right off that, and he seems to have been hurt in the collision. I'd like to have seen Ralph Milne take that flare on. I think he's got the speed to beat him, and he's hurt. This is the captain I was talking about, Perozovic. Played for Anderlecht alongside the great Martin Olsen. The bounce again. I think we've well explored that theme. Bannon is there for United. Yeah, it's free kick, I think. Free kick against him and Bannon. One forward there by Silic. I think yesterday it should be noted that Jim McLean was trying to impress us in the media, and I think as well as players, that the game they had on Saturday was against an infinitely better side than Hajduk Split, that is Aberdeen. And with an improvised side, they were able to come out of it with a point. And he said if you can do that against Aberdeen, there's no need to fear this side at all. I think that's fairly sound psychology. I think the free kick given. Taken there by Asanovic. Well, we saw number 11, Deveric, coming down the right in the first half. There he is. And I think corner given. Asanovic going to take it. I wonder if any of you can remember the big player who played for Feyenoord called Wim van Hanegem. This youngster reminds me of him. Very left-sided, but what a side. Great left foot, tall like him, languid at times, and effective. Redford getting behind that. Nice little forward run, and that is the corner kick again. And the left-footed Asanovic will go across to take this. Film indicating cover. This will be a real test for Billy Thompson this time. This is going to swing in viciously. There it is. There's a header and it's off the line by McGuinness. The fullback was exactly where he's paid to be, and away goes Gordon. Away goes Gallagher. Oh no, it should have been pushed inside. Kevin Gallagher, what an opportunity missed. I think the youngster panicked. This was a header. Heady done there by Girolamo, and Gary McGuinness right at the post. Forward goes Milius. And I think will give Hajduk heart. That was Bulic coming forward. Now Asanovic again. Beginning to work well in this left side, and Thompson. Not the slightest suggestion of error about that. Totally confident. Yeah, this player's a good one, Asanovic.
Excellent player, actually. They've slightly upped the pace a bit, Hajduk, but in saying that, Bilic even more dangerous on the break.
McInally. Forcing McGuinness back away. Oh, that's out. Into McInally. Davidic. Berizovic, the captain. The set played alongside Martin Olsen in that famous Anderlecht side. Hasn't come forward all that much. Milius. And simply up in the air by John Clark. And I think we should remind ourselves that very difficult circumstances for John Clark. I mean, he was a striker, came to the club as a striker, and only recently has he been asked to fill the gap caused by injury. Another corner. Another left footer by Asanovic. McGuinness goes for it, and the goalkeeper really under no pressure, surprisingly. Nobody came in for that second ball. Moment and offside. Just a little too soon with a run forward. Do you think that the possible substitution with Kevin Gallagher and Coyne?
Well, at the present state, actually, I think the front three have done excellent. As well with the midfield, they've worked hard, never given them much chance really to exploit us. It really all depends on the last 15 minutes to see how fitness-wise, because they've done a lot of running.
They most certainly have. As said at the start of the second half, there's still a lot of hard work to be done, and almost 18 minutes gone. McGuinness is there. Billy Thompson came out of his line, and there is John Clark. I beg your pardon, his Bournemouth conceding the corner. Corner to Hajduk. Alaski Asanovic. Harder that time. Free kick given. This could be interesting. Number 5, Bulic coming down. Now, Davidic, we are told, is excellent at taking free kicks. But it's the one to the side. And nobody was in for it. I'm sure to the crowd who went to the right-hand side that looked near, but we had a perfect view of that. Nobody coming in for the kill. Clark just got a touch to that. McInally. Number 6, Silic. Was a great run by Silic. And there's David Neri. Right in the way. More his positional sense than anything else. Crowding out the Yugoslavs. That's very deep. Whipped away by Gallagher. And McGuinness did well, yes. Looks as if the player might just slip away from him. Mr. Silic. Offside. Just having a look across at the watch there. We're about to reach the 20-minute mark. Paul, your thoughts this far?
Well, actually, even though Hajduk have come at us, they've not really had many clear-cut chances. They just come in flurries, as I said. And I feel the players look as if they're quite comfortable now. As long as we can keep our composure, I still think we could maybe sneak one.
Very deep ball there by Billy Thompson. Well, that's the long ball that Paul thought would be to United's advantage, and so it proved. Offside, and that must have been very narrow. And the unbiased neutral commentator beside me holds his head in anguish. Free kick. We expected a lot of Azanovic, and we certainly had it proved Bosak. Neri outside of the foot. By the way, Neri does that. You've seen him doing it so often. Gets over the outside of the foot, really gets it clear, high and away, avoiding any rebounds of somebody coming in from a hidden position. Well, such a confidence, but they just got away with that. Well, that's a dreadful ball forward by Redford. You mustn't become too casual. Redford trying to go in from the back, and I think Hajduk get the free kick. And everybody going into that penalty area for United by young Kevin Gallagher. And Thompson will not be bothered by that. Header from too far out. And here's Eamon Bannon. I don't think I've seen him lying his feet before in this match. If I have, I've forgotten about it. Looked very careless. Goal kick. Halfway through the second half as Billy Thompson prepares to take this goal kick. And I wonder if some of the legs are going out there, Paul. Are you looking for any discernible signs of it?
Well, the pitch and time, actually, the back four look quite comfortable. I feel the longer the game goes on, they are definitely going to leave themselves a bit wide open.
Here's Bannon. Created a little space for himself. Pass forward, not so useful. And again. Gallagher, much too weakly that time. Oh. Adventurous little fullback, Milius again. Standing up wide. That's a good tackle. John Holt. Still Holt. Here's Gallagher in the middle. Oh. He was so near. Bannon. Bowman. Round to Bannon, who's onside. Puts it deeper this time. Redford at the back. Then a ball inside Redford. And he doesn't have the strength. And that was Dundee United looking aggressive in a way which must hearten you, Paul.
The good thing is, Archie, now we're taking the game to them. We're giving them problems. As you can see, the crowd are getting frustrated, they're getting annoyed with the home team, and that's also our benefit.
And only about 20 minutes of the game remaining. Gallagher beginning to come into it more, and David Neary was in one of his runs. Gallagher going through on his own, and he wins the corner kick. Well, I did emphasise the youngster's courage. I mean, we know he's skillful and one of the trickiest players in the game. But he's proved today he's perfectly capable of playing against a tough and sometimes slightly cynical defence. Somebody in the crowd, I don't know where it is, continually blowing a whistle. The watch tells us we now officially have exactly 20 minutes left. Still no scoring. And that's a better shot, and it's off the ball. Brilliant shot by Andrea Sevic. And a shot like that really merited a goal. It really was quite splendidly driven in by Andrea Sevic. Look at it. Thompson, no chance for that. In fact, looking at the replay, I wonder if he got the slightest of touches.
Yeah.
We may see from this one, yes, that goes under the category of a quite brilliant save. Thank the Yugoslavian director for giving your goalkeeper the opportunity to show what he really did there. As I said, we're very high up here, and that longitudinal look down the park verified that Billy Thompson did get the touch. A save I'm sure that Hamish McAlpin would have been proud of himself. That's right, Hamish used to do it now and again.
All the time. The good thing, Archie, that's what he's been doing all season, and it's great to see that, you know, a great wee touch on the bar, and fortunately for us, we've got away with it.
McInally, Bannon, McInally. There's a good run there, Bowman. McInally's onside, Bowman. He's got to judge us better though, and he didn't. Well, yet again, they played with intelligence, Dundee United, touching the ball round well. Good running. And here's Bosak. Oh, John Clark did very well there, keeping that in place. I'm wondering, Paul, if that was ironic cheering we had when Bosak went for the ball.
That's true, Archie, yeah. Archie, that's the first real shot in goal when Billy Thompson actually played on the bar. Most of the time he's just playing hook balls into the defence, and that's the real first shot in goal.
It's a save that I think would have interested Andy Roxburgh, except Andy won't see it. He's in Greece at the moment, coaching. Tricky ball. Forward, a lack of coordination up front. Deveric held back for some rather obscure reason. No, that is not a bad ball at all. Bannon is inside. That's McGuinness. Gallagher, not strong enough there. Seems to take his eye off the ball. Oh. Well, you know, you look at Jim McInally, you sometimes wonder, a player of his quality, why did Celtic let him go in the first place?
Well, definitely to our benefit. Jim's a tireless worker, and he's a great reader of the game.
I think there might be the suggestion of a substitution here, Paul. Looks like Page. Asanovic. Nearly didn't get the touch there. And that was the Veric. An up and under. First 10-15 minutes he looked extremely useful. But the shooting, and I did point out earlier on, the shooting was really pathetic, and that was a perfect illustration of it. Gallagher picks on the big 34-year-old captain of the side, McInally. Redford, too strong, never get that. In fact, a bad ball there by Ian Redford. I don't think that's people shooting themselves. I think they're letting off rockets of some kind. Now, I think at this stage, with exactly 15 minutes remaining, your manager, Paul, might be worried about sloppiness anywhere along the line.
That's correct.
Well, here's a great chance for Dundee. And he can't put it away. It's a wonder that post still standing. McGuinness was caught out very badly. And the Dundee United defence, when we're talking about sloppiness, well, it may have been in the sense that there was no cover behind. That was a great opportunity for this side. Asanovic. There's Thompson. And I think he was fouled, yes. Well, Paul, that ought to be put away. This was the actual shot against the post.
Well, I think all credit to Billy Thompson there, Archie. You know, he got his angles right, he made it very difficult for the player. Fortunately for us, you know, it didn't strike the post and went away to safety. But I think all credit to Billy Thompson, he definitely made it difficult for the forward.
And you need that in Europe in any case. I mean, there's little doubt, but when you're under pressure and you're playing bravely, sometimes a lot goes your way.
Well, that's right. It's very important that you get the bigs at the right time and just got to continue with the good fortune.
Well, their hackles are up now all the same. They've been given a glimpse of how they can get behind this Dundee United defence. Oh, Redford had Milne, and away the far side, Milius. And Bournemouth all the time in the world. A slack pass forward though. 13 minutes left, still no scoring. And still United 2 up on aggregate. Pushed forward by Perezovic. McInally and Redford. Gordon Gallagher was really on his own, and Holt. Bad ball by Holt, though. Slack. Free kick. And having played so well and confidently in defence, he must not hand this game away now.
Just in the last 2 or 3 minutes, they have definitely pressurised them. That's just that wee bit much. So obviously we've got to be on our toes so that the situation does arise, we must play it away quickly.
So, loud rollers as Asanovic puts in another big corner kick. And Thompson down on it, but we had the 2 full-backs by the post as well. And that tangerine wall looked very substantial indeed. Bannon. Number 4, Andriusevic. And he did well. I can remember another goalkeeper used to do that.
So he was came out much further, 40 yards out further. I feel actually that he's just been pushed back just a wee bit too much, Darling.
Yeah, too close for comfort now for United, and I think that is clearly the impression getting down to the bench as well. Gordon Gallagher, and that is slack again. He had McInally inside him. Hasanovic. Bowman crouched over it, and they get another free kick out. This is very dangerous. 11 minutes remaining. Eamon Bannon comes up to stand virtually in front of the ball. No, header and away to Bannon. And a good, effective clearing ball. About halfway through this half, you got the impression that Hajduk were at their wits' end. And the frustration was creeping in. In the last 5 minutes, as Paul says, they've edged further forward. A little bit of luck with United. And United must not let them off the hook. Here's Bill. He's got a bit of space. Redford on the outside. McInally going for the return ball. Swept up there by Shiric. And we're into the last 10 minutes of the game. Steady, well, look at this. Here's David Neri going forward as well. Ralph Milner's Neri with a chance. Brilliant move by United. And the big captain in his testimonial year, charging forward all the way from defence to get at the other end of this, and just on the wrong side. That was desperately unlucky for him.
Just as I've seen after, you know, you always look very threatening. 3 against 2 in that situation, you've nearly got a goal.
Here's Beaumont. Just kept in there by Andriusevic. The run here by Deberic. Now Bursak. Oh, he does that well. Round to the left side again. That's a useful ball across. And there is Albill superbly to Bannon. He couldn't get free, and I think there might have been a deflection. No, there's not. Throw to Hajduk, and we make it about 4.5 minutes remaining. No, wrong watch. It's 9 minutes. Slightly longer for the agony for United supporters. Bannon. Gallagher was trying to creep in at the back. Bannon. Very wide again, and that's Redford. John Holt. Redford gets away this time. And I think he gets a free kick. Paul.
Yeah, I feel actually now we must play the balls into the corners. Just keep possession, because the more time we can waste, the more beneficial towards us. The thing is, we must just keep possession, take the heat out the last few moments.
7 minutes to go. Down it is to Gallagher, and he handled that. Yes, no question about that. Well, he has been fully bloodied in this Continental field tonight. Good tackle. McGuinness. Referee gives a free kick this time. Goal. Oh, I thought he threw himself. I really did. Little histrionic fall. Way free. Ooh, black ball. The crowd getting hostile now and it's gone out. And here's Redford. Cleared there by Perozovic. Away goes to the corners. And now Bannon. Bannon on the run to Gallagher. We try and take him on. He does. And he gets a corner. And there are exactly 5.5 minutes remaining. Corner. Gallagher trotting over himself to take this. Ralphville comes close to him. Telling the big Yugoslav Asanovic to get away back. Milne. Neveric. Should be mopped up and is way down to Milne this time. Just as well David nearly got his head to that. He'd a player inside him uncovered. Free kick, quickly taken. This is Milius. And that pass. John Clark. Just for 1 second I thought it was going in his own net. Paul, if you open your eyes, it's all right. He didn't score. And Billy Thompson's there. Well inside the last 5 minutes. A couple of watches at variance here, but we would make it now 3.5. And here is Bannon. Will he try himself? And Gallagher. I think Eamon Bannon, in fact, himself ran out of ideas. Gordon Wallace is up. Mr. McLean restraining himself in the corner. And can we now boldly and fearlessly predict that United are in the quarter-finals, Paul?
Well, actually, can't tempt fate. I'd like to just wait another 3 or 4 minutes. But seeing that, we have weathered the storm. We have kept a wee bit of possession in the last 4 or 5 minutes. And I think we should be well satisfied with the result, but possibly not with the performance.
Well, we've seen far too many Scottish teams playing very well in Europe and not getting results. Oh, Gallagher really taken out of it. That's not only a free kick, that is surely a booking. Well, let's see if Gallagher has recovered from that. Look at it. That's savage. I said right at the very start, I'm not sure whether it was during the break in transmission or not, but they were very intimidating in the warm-up. In fact, I saw one of the Yugoslavs trying to kick one of the Dundee United players, make it look accidental in the warm-up. Bowman. Well over, we make it about a couple of minutes left. And I'm sure everybody in Scottish football must be highly delighted that this Dundee United side, which too often in the past has been considered unfashionable, has yet again reached another significant stage in European football. Okay, I think Paul is right in saying they haven't played all that brilliantly this afternoon, but effectively, particularly when they were under pressure. And they always gave the impression that a threat existed up front for them. But I think the songs being sung by the Yugoslavians have nothing to do with triumph or praise, and more with derision. And Billy Thompson getting that straight from Jerolimov. We have 1 minute between Dundee United and the quarter-finals of the UEFA Trophy.
Just another occasion there, Archie. Billy Thompson made that shot look very, very easy. He got his ankles right again. Excellent save.
Duric. Dying moments of the game now. And Hajduk, that big player you saw there, I don't think this club will be able to hold on to him. I think he'll leave and play somewhere else in Europe. And the whistle says it all, does it not? Eamon Bannon. Oh, beautifully done by Bannon. There's a touch across on the goalkeeper. We're now into stoppage time. And I think you folk in Dundee and all the Dundee United supporters elsewhere can relax, if not try and prepare to celebrate. This has been a very profitable and productive afternoon for this club again. Away goes Gallagher. And the referee has looked across to one of his linesmen, and still no relaxation from Mr. McClay. McGuinness is up, and I think Hajduk will get the free kick for this. Number 10, Asanovic. And Billy Thompson watching it glide past. Well into stoppage time. And it's finished. The whistle has gone. And look at these glum faces. Quite expressionless, stunned almost, as United have moved into the quarter-final of the UEFA Cup. Let me emphasise that we can certainly be very critical of our team's performances in Europe. The point about it is achievement. United, time after time after time, have made this enormous stride forward. And here we are once again in the quarter-final. Paul, you must be absolutely delighted.
Tremendous for the players. They worked really, really hard that day. And it's great to see what the trick was.
Marvellous stuff. Well done, United. Through to the quarter-finals yet again. And Hamish looking on. No doubt delighted, Hamish. Effective rather than entertaining, I think we could say.
That's right, Dougie. They went out to do a job and they done it quite well. A couple of scary moments, second half, but the longer the game went on, they grew. The last 10 minutes, first half, the same at the end. United actually could have scored. That's
right. And Billy Thompson had one save, which you'd have been proud of.
Tremendous save, tremendous save. He had a lot of time to see it, but it was a super great struck shot, and he did enough to get it on at the bar. Fortunately, it went down, cleared away, but he did really well.
Great. Good to have you with us, Hamish. Nice to see you still enjoying your football at Kirkcaldy. And from us, we'll say good afternoon and remind you that Sports Scene tonight at 10:25 will have highlights of this afternoon's match.